Wait, I'm supposed to show you my project, right? Not class.
Yeah, yeah. Just where you stuck in your project, yes. So are we talking now that you will show me something related to MySQL?
I'm not really sure.
Okay. How has you progressed so far in your Laravel?
Well, I kind of found out that I have to create a controller last week. So, because I can't manage to open my, what's it called? Uh, my login and log out have a little problem when I try to open it.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of shows problem. It can't really shows what I want to show. So it kind of I have to create a controller for that. I don't know if I did the controller correct or not because I haven't really connected back to the database yet.
Aha. Okay. So you have to test that uh, that your database is actually working in the first place. Can I see your database? Are you able to show me your database?
Wait, I want to ask something.
Mm-hmm.
For the controller, for the user controller, if I want to if I want to create a user controller, which means I have to create for each teachers, students, and parents controller.
No, no. It should be so if you have a login, it must be um controller for everybody. For it's supposed not supposed to be for specific people. It's supposed to be for the purpose. So if you are doing a login, so there should be a login and so the controller that handles the login, it will also handle the logout. So the login process, it will be handled by one controller. Okay. And do you understand actually the concept of MVC, the controller model view? Did you understand that concept? The MVC concept?
Actually, not exactly. When I tried to do it, when I tried to ask my friend about this, it says that I only did what's it called, the view one, and
Okay.
then after I did that, it says that I need to have the model and the controller for it. And then when I did that, I couldn't have the idea how to connect it back to the database.
Okay. Okay. So typically, the model should be the one that is connecting to your database, and the view is the one that is actually related to the final view that the user will see. So mostly it will have the UI, your business logic normally should go inside the controller. So your controller will actually is the one that will call your model, and it will also call your view. So this is so the controller is the most of the work will be there. Your view will have the UI. Again, as I told you, most of the time the model is the one that's going to have your connection to the database. Okay. So this is I think you better try to understand first the concept of controller model view and how you are able to actually connect the three of them, how you are able to call the model from inside your controller, how you are able to call the view from inside your controller. I think this is very important. It just without trying to use the login, because the login itself is complicated enough. There is a lot of things that is complicated in the login process itself. It's not easy. That's why many times you will find that there is a lot of uh, templates that is already ready just for the login process. Okay, so because sometimes the login process maybe have things that we didn't even talk about it before, which mean that like the user, you need to be aware when the user started to log in, and then you say that if he's not active or after a certain time pass, you need to log him out and ask him pass him again to the login page. So there should be certain checks that you do inside your controller to check if the user really um, need to be kept logged in, or you need to log him out. So um, that in itself have a little bit complication. So that's why I recommend you to not to start with a if you just starting to learn about controller, model, and view. I would like you to first uh, see a very simple task. How can you show something from a database and show it on the view itself? So don't start with the login. That's too complicated for you to learn. That's my advice. The second thing is, let me see here. Um, okay, so this is your user, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have a look at the document that I passed to you? There is a
Yeah.
document. Okay. Did you understand anything from the document itself?
Is it the updated database, right?
Yes. So there is two documents that I passed to you. One of them is actually it's called the process enhancement and database structuring. So that show you actually the table columns, the new table columns that you will have, and that include student, parent, teacher, and users. Did you have a look at that document?
I think I only look at the updated database, so I didn't look at the login process.
Okay. So my recommend, if you don't mind, can you please open it? It is just a PDF file.
I share.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah. It's totally fine. No, you continue sharing, please. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Are you sure this is?
The one, right?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the one. Yes, it's true. So let me try to see here why I'm not seeing the tools here. Hmm. Give me a second, please. I'm not sure why is.
Maybe you have to share to get the tools, maybe.
Strange. Hmm. That's a bit strange. Yeah, okay, I saw it. Yeah, okay. So the most important thing to me that um, you can see here, this is a student ID, this is a parent ID, this is a teacher ID. Go down, please. Can you go down? Can you slide down? Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, enough like that. So uh, do you see here we have something called associated ID, and this is a foreign key. Typically, it will refer to the IDs in the student and in the parent table and in the teacher table. So actually, the current database that you have might not be the best way to actually test this because this is an improvement version. So I would say go back to your database. So did you download the file first? I mean, there is a file that I passed to you. So the file supposed to have, yep. So this is a dump. So this is, does it come with this SQL? So yeah, you see here the file ending up with SQL. Are you able to download that file? Okay.
Downloading now.
Yes. So
All
once you
right.
do, yes, that's good. Okay. So you have to open it from the downloaded files. So the downloaded files typically will be here. I don't want you to, so go where is it? Go and check where is it in the, I believe here or no, go back here again. So yes, okay, click on it. So if you come here, I believe it will, okay, just slowly come here again. I don't want it to be opening in the browser. I want it to you to go to the downloads file and open it from there. So you can do that from here. You can come here
Yeah, I
slowly.
already done it. It opened at my Visual Studio.
Yes, but oh, this is at your Visual Studio.
Yeah, I opened a Visual Studio. Actually, I'm just showing you an application.
Okay,
I'm just showing one by one. I didn't share my screen. So
okay,
I'm using different screens. So where is
okay,
it?
okay. That's totally fine also. So, okay, what we need to do here. Uh, so uh, uh, again, this table, this SQL dump, you need to import it inside your database. But before if you try to import it at the moment, you will have a problem. So what I want to tell you that uh, here's the tables. Let me come here. So can you see this table? Can you see the table name? It starts with TPL.
Yeah.
And also the table here start with TPL. And so on the teacher table and even the user table. So can you go back to your database? Can you share it? Can you share it?
Yeah, yeah.
Dalia? Yeah, okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, I would say, so your database at the moment is under this name, right? So let me move these tools here. Yeah, so you click here, please. Yep, that's good. Okay, so now we see all the tables, right?
Yeah.
You notice your tables here does not have TPL, right? So you
Yeah.
have, okay, perfect. Can you go to the import, please? So import any improvement in uh, the table structure, we should do it here. So choose here the file, the SQL dump file that you downloaded. Yes, okay, try to do that. Yeah, okay, open, go down and import. Okay. So now can you see what is happening at the moment? So can you go back here to the structure? Yes. So can you see what really happened at the moment?
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
there is two tables. One is starting with TPL for parent, like here, and another one without TPL. So that is actually almost ruined our database, right?
yeah.
So okay, um, the step to correct that, in your opinion, what could be the first step to correct the issue that happened at the moment?
I could drop the table, delete the table,
Excellent, excellent. Okay, but which table we would like to drop? The new tables or all the tables?
the old table,
Okay, so which one you would like to drop? Parent?
and student and user. Yeah, and
Oh,
teacher also.
yep, that's
Yeah,
correct. Yes, yes, correct. You should drop them, yes. Yes, you press OK. Okay, that's excellent. So I would like you to actually go to each table that start with TPL. Okay, so actually we will go to operations. Okay, that's good. So I want you to rename the table to remove the TPL. Okay, so you check. I think there is a button here. No, no, you just go up, please. Go up. I think there is a button here. Okay, if this is adjusted your table, so go back here to confirm that this is already happened. Okay, so it's already done, right? So this is corrected. We need to do that here, here, and here. Yeah. So we need to go to operations again. Okay, that's excellent. Okay. Yes, you need to do it. Yes, exactly. Correct. Okay. So now you are almost done with your. Okay. So the point here, when I give you the user table, can you go back to the user table, please? Yes. So look at the user table. Here, I give you many users. So two of them teachers and one parent and one student. With this sample data, you are able actually to test your login process. But just remember something, that this password is an encrypted password. This is not a password that you need to use when you are trying to log in from your login page on the Laravel or the UI, because this is encrypted. Okay. So do you know the process of encryption? How you are able to compare two encrypted passwords?
so,
Any idea? I cannot really hear you. Can you please repeat again?
no.
So this encrypted password is a result of using SHA. So this is one of the ways that we encrypt passwords. So we pass this SHA, the user, the actual password, whatever password it is, and then it will bring it in this unreadable format. So when we are this password is almost like a one-way process, which means that we are not able to unencrypt this password again. So the way that we should do any password that the user enter in the login screen, we should use SHA to encrypt it again. And then once we do this encryption, the output, we compare it to what is stored here. Okay, I want you to go back to the SQL dump that is opened in your Visual Studio, please. So one of the ways that we could have avoided the time that we took to correct the table names is that we actually can just modify the tables here. Okay, uh, so you need to be aware and take your time to actually learn to be able to modify SQL dumps. It will take some time for you, but it is actually a good practice so that you know things from inside out. Can you please go down? Okay. So the user table, as you can see here, just it is a password and it is storing our password in var char, right? Okay. I also would like you to see, can you go to any insert statement that is inserting something inside the user table, please?
This one, right?
No, this is inserting inside student. This is inserting inside parent. This is inserting inside teacher. So we would like to go inside user. Yes, excellent. So actually, for every username here, this is the real password. So password 123 is for John Doe. Secure password is for Jane Smith. Teacher password is for Alice Brown. And for Pop White, it is called teacher password 2. What you see on the database is the encrypted version of that password. So if you want to really use something on your login screen, you should be trying to use this kind of passwords. You will not know it if you look at the database. So why they make the password encrypted inside the database? Anybody can steal the database. Okay, so the database actually is exposed to be stolen. So if somebody stole it, he will see the encrypted passwords, but he will not know too much details about how the encryption itself was done or what was the original password. So that is why we encrypt passwords. So the table, it can be stolen. Anybody can really get access to it, but he will not be able to get access to our real password or what was this password in the original before the encryption. So you see here, we use SHA to convert the typical password in an encrypted format that is ununderstandable and people cannot reverse back the encryption. So if they try to reverse back the encryption, they will not reach that password anymore. Did I make sense to you so far?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So now at the moment, like I told you, you have an updated tables at the moment. Okay. So I would like you after the class, go back to what we tested previously. I shared with you two SQL statements. So I will not make it difficult for you. I try to, as much as I can, to make it easy. So I will share with you in this moment. So you off your sharing, please. And let me share. So what I will share with you now is actually the SQL statements that you will be able to use. Once you use it, you are able to actually test the login process. So, okay, let me share here with you. I think you can see my screen, right? Okay. So again, what we are querying here So do you understand what does it mean as a student ID?
Yeah,
You sure?
it's
So actually you can remove
it's
it. It's an alias.
yeah, it's just like changing the name for the
Exactly.
social.
Yes, exactly. So this is the real table name. This is the real table name. Oops. Okay. Here, associated ID and role. And what if you can see here, we are passing Jundu and we are passing a password and we pass the password as SHA-1 so that it encrypt this and then it will pass the encrypted password and check it against the SQL table, which is it can be users or it can be like I can typically remove that to match your table name. So again, this is all editable. You can edit. The point here is that you need to make sure that your table is working before you start troubleshooting that from inside Laravel. Laravel is another level of complexity. You do not want to so if you're not sure if your tables is really working, if your database is not working in the first place, and then you start to try to connect or do the login process from Laravel, because that will be too much. You will not know the problem is in Laravel itself or the problem is where. And please be aware, you are a beginner in Laravel. This is actually, I wouldn't recommend students who still starting to start with Laravel because Laravel is slightly complex. There is another frameworks that is actually slightly easier than Laravel. But okay, since you are forced to do that by your lecturer or your professor, you have no way to argue, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so you got no choice. It seems that you got no choice. So you have to start to troubleshoot. But the problem is, I don't see like I teach you before. So one of the ways is you need to make sure your database is working before you start that from inside your controller. That is one thing. The second thing is, so you need to make sure, so this is the password and the username you should try to use from inside your view. So in your controller, you will be getting the result of this SQL statement. Okay. So again, if you're not sure that your tables is correct and you are testing with the correct username and password, that will be a hell. You will not be able to reach anywhere. And that is the first thing. The second thing is I want you to make sure before you test anything that your logging, you know what I mean logging? Log.
yeah,
So you need to make sure your logging um, class or function is really working. This is your eyes and your ears in your system. You are totally blind. At the moment, you are totally blind, and any programmers is like you, is totally blind. Without logging, you will not be able to know what is really happening. The uncertainty, I'm sure, part of it because you are not using logging. You need to be able to read logging. So when I started programming, I use either I didn't know that I should use logging. Nobody told me. Okay, so I use it print statement, but there is no print statement in PHP. They use echo. So did you hear about echo before?
yeah.
So echo is a way to print something to the screen. So I use a lot of echo. Every step in my code that I'm not sure about, I make an echo. I need to make sure that my code is really executing the same way that I expect. There is no way for you to know because you are blind. Um, Troubleshooting PHP is quite tricky. And if you try to even make the debugger work for PHP, might not be the best. It will take a lot of time actually. So that's why I advise you. Your logging is your eyes, and you need to test that your logging is working, and you need to see your logging is actually writing to which text file. and it will write to a certain text file on your hard disk or on your folder project, and you always need to look where is that text file. So the problem with echo, it will actually disturb your UI a lot, okay? And certain times you're not able to push to make an echo, and if you make an echo, it will mm, make things a little bit messy, especially in Laravel. If it is you're writing bare PHP, it should be fine. That's why logging is important. Logging will write any print statement or logging command that you put, it will take the text that you put and store it inside the text file with the time and date. So you will get a file like that with the dates here and with the text that you try to actually print. So this is a sequence of events that keep happening with the dates and time. And every day you should be having a different text file. So you should invest time in making this logging work, because without it, you will not be able to make anything work. This is a result of 17 or 18 years of writing code. Your logging process is your eyes and ears. Without it, you will not be able to solve any problem. Problem at the moment, at the login, is slightly complicated, slightly at the start, but there is another problem that will appear in the future. Again, with a logging process in a proper logging process to to keep printing things, you will not be able to troubleshoot anything. When I put my websites into production, it means that it is running without my attention. The only way for me to know if somebody report an error to me is I need to open the log file and I check the dates and time. And typically, when there is a date and time, there is when there is an error that happens. So I will see the word error typically. Okay. So if there is an exception that happened in your code, it will record that if you are putting a correct logging process, you should see an error code inside your log file or text file. And this is the only way for you to understand things, how it is happening. What is the issue that is happening? So this is the first thing. If you did not do that, you will be in the current loss condition all the time during the project. And I would say very little chance that you will be able to solve a problem on your own. You will always need help because you're not able to troubleshoot or see what is really happening. So I would advise, of course, the log file that I told you, it was for when I didn't use that you're going to use Laravel. There is a way that you have to check what Laravel uh, folders they are using to actually do this logging. So there could be it's possible that you are able to enable the logging process from certain configuration files in your Laravel. That will be automatic if there is an error, but you need to know how to use the logging inside Laravel. It might not be the same way like I told you, because the way that I told you, if you are using only PHP, so you have to write your own logging code. But Laravel and other frameworks each have its own way of logging text files. Okay, so you need to check what logging process the Laravel is doing, and you need to go to configuration files, and you need to enable the configuration to the maximum. So every single thing that happened to your Laravel, you need to log it. That will be a lot of information that is being recorded. So if you maybe open a controller, so you will see that, oh, the controller is opened, or the controller is closed. So typically, if you have, can you open please your controller, please? Actually, do you understand anything from what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you are lost?
a bit lost here, and then I might go back to the recording to hear back.
Okay. Yeah, just open your controller, please, if you don't mind. Okay. Can you show me the function that the method that you call inside your controller? So, okay. So this is your controller class. Maybe here you write show login form, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So if I were you, oops, I'm not, yeah, okay. Um, so this is the login request. And so this is two functions, okay? I would say before I start doing this validation or anything here, I would do a login process here. I would say starting login inside the user controller. And at the end, you go back to the end of, before this curly braces, the closing curly braces down, you also write a login statement, end of login method. This is a text. This is a text that you need to print out, just a text that you need to print. So if an error happened in the middle, if you do not know where this error happened, so now if any of these produce an error, I will be able to locate exactly where it happens, because my functions always start with a clear text like that. So at the start, I will mark that this is the starting of a login and this is the end of a login. This is the starting here. I put another login here, another login here. At least return, maybe you're not able to log in, but maybe you are able only to put one on the top. So you show here a text. This is the start of show login form. By doing so, if this produce an error, then in the text file, you will be able to see. So this is the start, and then you see an error. Typically, then you should search here. Then this could be the source of the problem or the error. Without this kind of techniques, it is very hard, very, very hard. You get really lost. And when you say user controller, I don't recommend that. User controller is a generic name. We are doing a login process. A login process will be for the same login process, which should work for the student, should work for teacher, for parent, for everybody. The same function should work for everybody. Why? Because we are going to query one table, which is the user table. It doesn't matter he's a teacher, he is a student, he is a parent. We still pass the username, the email, and the password, for example, to the user table. We are not going to query the student or anything else until we get something back from the user. If you see the SQL statement that I shared with you a while ago, we say select associated ID. So we get an ID and we get the role, and then we pass the username and password. So if we get the ID and the role, you are able to make an if statement. So the role here, if you say if the role equal teacher, so you need to query the teacher table to be able to get the teacher ID. If the role equal student, you can query the student table to get the student ID. Have you got any idea from, you got anything from what I'm saying? Is it getting so messy?
Yes, so that means I have to in this controller, I have to differentiate between the user of I have to put an if else statement, right?
Yes, yes, yes. And this is much more better than creating a controller for every login. Because if you create a controller for every, it become more messy. That is more messy. You need to make your code smart. So if there is a common thing, a login is a common thing. Everybody need to use a login. Teacher need to use a login. Parent need to use a login. Administrator need to use a login. Student need to use a login. Why I need to create 3 or 4 pages with 3 or 4 controllers just for that purpose? If I can just differentiate them using an if statement, this means that is the way. Because also, I don't think that um, your professors will forgive you for creating a login page for every user. That is that you will be questioned a lot for that. So don't do that. So if a certain process is shared among all, you have to make your code smarter in a way to recognize with the if statement or select statement, so that you are able to recognize you are dealing with a teacher or you're dealing with who. So once a user login, so the ID, once you are able to know the role, and then you start to query the student or the teacher table to get the real ID, you need to store the ID in a session. So if you store it in a session, it means that any part of the other controllers are able to read that session variable, and then know that the one who is using the system at the moment is actually a teacher or a student or a parent by using this. So again, once you finish working with this user login controller, you need to save data. You need to save the output of this login process. So the output, the only way for you to store it is using session. This is the only way available in PHP to store variables. Or you can store it in text files, but that will not be so practical. It will be another layer of complexity. Sessions is much easier and more common. So, but again, don't busy yourself with the session. I would say the first thing that you need to do now is to learn how to use logging in Laravel. This is the first thing. The second step is just you need to learn how to create a controller with controller. It's MVC, so model view controller. So you need to know how to create a simple model and a simple view and a simple controller. And you need to be able to create methods inside your controller that are able to show views and are able to query the database. Once you do that, then you start to come here back again and work on the login process. If you didn't do that, I want you to simple first. Start with simple thing first. Make sure it was working first, and then work on improvement. Don't dive. And so what you are doing at the moment, you are jumping inside the red ocean without any tools, without any knowledge. So I don't recommend that. You will be totally lost. Move one step at a time. Move small steps, but educated steps. So make sure that, if something didn't work, you need to only investigate a little bit of code. At the moment, you are lost because you didn't try any single controller view before. So if you learn how to do MVC, you will be able to do the login, you will be able to do the dashboard, you'll be able to do everything. Of course, every time you do something new, you will face challenges. Definitely, that's okay. But at the end, you start with a small thing and improve it. So far, are you able to catch at least 50% of what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm able to catch.
Okay. Do you know how you're going to start again? Any idea?
I have to look at the database first, fix on that, and
Okay.
then learn more on how I can
Logging,
learn
logging,
logging
uh,
using
not
uh,
login. It is not login. It is logging.
logging. Okay.
Okay. So
And
yeah. And then you learn about simple MVC. just take a simple example about an MVC that you can create a controller, and then what else?
Um, uh, yeah, I think that's it. Maybe.
Okay, okay, okay. I think okay. I know it is tough. Just Daniel, don't give up, Daniel. I know that you are lost, and everybody who writes software pass the stages that you are passing in at the moment. Um, so what I would say that um, uh, just um, just be persistent. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So can we move on, please, with our classes?
yeah, sure.
Okay, let me share that my screen. Give me a second, please. Okay, so okay, Daniel, can you hear me, Daniel?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I know that we didn't go through this from some long time. Can you still remember this table? Did you see this table before?
Yeah, should have stayed before.
Okay. And have you seen something like that before?
Yeah, I seen it. I think you already mentioned this.
Okay. What about this?
Mm, I haven't seen this.
Okay. So okay, let us look together. So again, do you still, like I told you, I asked you actually for the homework to check the previous slides, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, uh, I want you to still remember, look at this, and so do you know that what does it mean that you have a high precedence here, and then this is going to lower precedence? Do you understand what is that? So that this is the basis of what we're going to do at the moment. So I want to confirm that it's clear to you.
So we need the highest to the lowest, meaning the how the code will read
We'll start evaluating. We
yeah.
start evaluating from the highest precedence, uh, and so when we see a multiplication, division, or even modulus. So we start doing this kind of operation first. And then the second precedence will be plus and minus. And then these comparison operators, okay? And then the not operator, and then the and, logical and the logical or, and then at the end, the assignment. So if we look here, okay, so can you look at the first? I think this is easy, right? And this code is easy, is it? It's not difficult, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Okay. So you see here, there is two portions that we can see. There is two conditions actually, and there is an and here. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you tell me, will this condition evaluate to true or false? What is the value of y? 17, right?
Yeah, and Z is 25.
X, x is
X,
okay.
oh, X is
X
42.
42. Okay. So is that 42 bigger than 17?
Yeah, it's bigger.
So it's true, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What about this?
Z is 25. Y is 17.
So this is true or false? The condition?
True.
True. Okay, that's good. So we have true here, and we have a logical and true. So if we want to evaluate that, so I just want you to notice that just because these comparison operators have a higher precedence than the and on this table, that's why we evaluated these two comparison first. Can you see that here? Can you see here? This comparison have higher precedence than the and. So it means that if we see the comparison operator, we do them first. After this, we do the logical and. Is that so far clear?
Yeah,
Why we started with this operator first?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, that is
So
good.
that means when we compile the code will read what's it called? The more or equals to function. Uh, the more equals to logical expression, right?
Can you repeat again? Can you repeat it again because I didn't catch what you're trying to say?
So when we compile the code will read the more or equals to logical expression first, and
Yes,
then
exactly.
the and
It's not about reading. It will read all one shot, but it will start executing these portions first. After it execute this and then this, then it will look at this kind of operation. So is it clear like that? Or is,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
okay,
good.
that's good. We go to the second one, please. Can you see that? Okay, so we have a kind of logical operator here. I think this is the one, right? Same like this. And then we have this kind of operator. So we actually have two conditions. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so start evaluating this, for example.
Right.
Is it complicated how this works?
It, we want to find out the what's it called? The remainder, right? The remainder for
Exactly, yes, yes. And if we are checking the remainder with 2, so it means this operation can actually tell us two things. That this number is either even or odd. So if the number is even, so the result of this operation will be 0. If the number is odd, the result of this operation will be 1. So here we are checking the equality that this side here is equal this side. So we need to, okay, can you see this here? So this condition actually also need to be evaluated separately. We need to evaluate this one first, and then we evaluate this. Why? Because the modulus have a high precedence than the equality. Where is that on the table? Is here. Can you see the modulus? Where is it? The modulus is here. And the equality is here. So it means that any operations that got multiplication, division, modulus need to be evaluated first. After this, we check the equality. Is it complicated for you? Daniel?
Yeah.
Tell me, because it's important. You have to write a lot of if conditions with a proper conditioning inside your project even. So it is very interesting and good that you really try to understand what's going on here. If you don't, then you have to tell me.
Okay. So you mean that they will execute the x divided by 2 first, right? And y divided by 2.
Yes, true. Yeah. So if we got this expression, so we said that the whole expression is 1. So to evaluate that this whole expression, we have to do first what? So the first step is I take it x modulus 2, and then I get the result. And then I get y modulus 2. I get the result. And then after I get the result, I get the result from here and here. And then I compare if they are equal. So if I say x is 42, right? So 42 modulus 2 equal what? Okay, so it will be equal 0 or 1. As we said, modulus 2, it means that you, okay. If you divide this number by 2, like that, so what is the result?
21.
And there is 0 remainder. Am I
Yeah.
right? And if
Right.
we put here 41 instead of 42, and we divide it by 2, what is the result? 20.5, is it?
Yeah.
So it is 20, and there is a remainder. So if it is a remainder, this means that it is 1, actually. This is the result if you use a modulus. So once this is even, you got the remainder. If you use a modulus, you got 0. So in this case, because this number is even, and then I said modulus 2, so I got here 0. And y is 17. Am I right? Is it correct?
Yeah, by 17.
Okay. And then I say modulus 2. Is it this 17 is even or odd?
Odd.
Okay, if it is odd, this means that I here get the remainder as 1. If I try to divide 17 by 2, I get what?
8.5.
Okay, so it is 8, and there is a remainder. So,
Yeah.
okay, and you understand what is the meaning remainder here, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, if I multiply 8 times 2, it's equal what? 16, right?
Right.
And if I say 17 minus 16, it means that the remainder is 1. So that's why this one comes from. Is it so far clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So again, as you can see, this part resulted in 0, and this part resulted in 1. And I now try to put this 0 and 1. So I got the result from here. I try to do the equality check. Is that true? Is that condition true or false?
Again?
Okay, again. So again, I told you
No, the last part.
the
I
last
couldn't
part
hear it.
is I'm trying to check here that this result from here, is it equal 1? So is it 0 equal 1 or no?
No.
No, right? So it's false.
Yeah.
So it means that we remove this because we already evaluated, we put instead it false. This is what is happening inside the memory. What is happening inside the processor. So this is how he evaluates things. So now we have a look at this portion. We have to evaluate this and this first. After this, we check the equality. Same like we did here. So now can you tell me, please? I will just keep quiet. So I will just remove, I will remove this totally so that we don't confuse things. Okay, now, as I said, this is the first part that we need to evaluate, second part, and then this is the third part. So I would say, okay, and this is Z, modulus 2. So you tell me 42 modulus 2 equal what?
0.
Okay, that's good. Okay, and then what about Z is
25
modulus 2 equal what?
equals to 1.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, that's good. Okay, so now we got this portion, the one side is equal 0. And then we put the equal is exactly like here. And this we should put what here? What should we put here?
1.
Okay, excellent. Is that true or false condition?
It's false.
You are sure, right?
Yeah, it's false.
Okay, so now I managed to actually evaluate both parts, both conditions. So I remove that, I put false here. And then, so it means that on this side, I got false. On this side, I also got false. Now there is an OR condition here that I need to evaluate. So if I got false and false, what is that final result? Because this is an OR, right?
Yeah. False.
Okay, excellent. So yes, this is the result of this expression is all of it is equal false. Yes, correct. Now, are you able to tell me alone what is the result from here? Or at least tell me the steps.
That means on the first one, I have to find y plus z. Uh, so the first one, it's true. Yeah.
Okay, so let me understand. What did you do here? So x
X is less or equals to
to what?
y plus
Z.
42.
So y plus z equal what?
42.
42. Okay. You sure? Yep. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
42. Yeah, you're
42.
correct. And x equal 42, right?
Yeah, that's equals to
Okay,
42.
so this means that this condition is true or false?
True.
Excellent. Okay, and then what about this? So this is done. We said true here. Okay, what about here?
X is more or equals to still 42. Y plus, yeah. So it's true, still true.
Okay, so again we remove that, we put true instead, and then we try to evaluate true and logical and true. This will result in what?
Resign.
I didn't hear you. Did you say that?
True. Sorry. Sometimes my mic couldn't hear my voice.
No problem.
True.
Yeah, okay, that's excellent. Okay, now this is slightly tricky. Okay, can you tell me how should we evaluate that condition?
So we should uh, evaluate the expression first, which means that x is the first expression, x is less and y is bigger than x, so that is false. And z is bigger than
Okay, can I ask you first? This will evaluate to true or false?
false
Okay, false. Okay, okay,
and false.
okay.
So
So
because okay, you should continue. Sorry.
no, no. I mean, it's totally fine. So false and false is equal what?
False and false equals to false. So
Excellent.
because we have the not in front of it, the expression, so it changes not, so that means it equals to true.
Excellent. Okay. So can you do this, please?
Uh, the first one is false
The first one is false. Okay. Based on what? Can you explain to me why is it false?
because when we divide the addition of x plus y by 2, finding there's no oh sorry, it's true. Sorry, there's no remainder. But
So, okay. So wait. I want to understand. So we add 42 plus 17. Am I right?
yeah,
This will result in what? 59.
if, yeah, 59.
So 59 is an odd or even.
Oh, it's an odd.
So if you try, this is again, this is modulus. You're trying to find the remainder.
Okay, sorry. I calculated wrong.
No problem. It's okay. So that's why I
Uh,
said step by step. Okay. I'm not rushing you. The most important that your mind start to find the correct way to solve things in a slow motion. After this, you're able to start on a high speed, but start correct on a slow motion first without being afraid to say anything wrong. It's totally fine what you're doing. Okay. And just do it step by step. So again here,
so it's false because it has a remainder.
okay,
Still equals to 0. Yeah, okay.
okay, that's good. So here is, we remove it, we put false. Okay. And okay, what about this?
So the other expression is it is true. It's false. Yeah, it's false because it has a not in front of it. A divided by 2, it has a remainder. So it is firstly it's true, but when it has a not in front of
Excellent,
the
excellent, excellent.
expression, it becomes false.
Okay. So I will ask you to write those. I will ask you to write those in your code, and try to put a print statement before each one of those. But I will. This will be done later on the class, not at the moment. So you have to. I need you to write those inside the print statement, but not now. Let us move to the next first. Okay. So there is, I think we write something like this code before. Can you see this code?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. This code does what, in your opinion?
Then if our statements finding the max, yeah, finding the max for A and B.
Okay, that is good. And it's clear to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, actually, the problem here is that, give me a second, please. Okay. So, okay, now the problem is if we try to write that code, actually, let me see here. This code will actually be accepted and it will run. And if you try to write that code without any else, actually it will not be accepted. You will find an error from from Java telling you that not all passes have a return value. Um, Java, the computer is dumb. It needs to see that you are going to return something here, which is an integer that you initiated. But this return is inside an if, and this if will only get executed in certain condition if this is only true. Am I right?
Yeah.
So if you try to put that, I believe we already talked about it. If you try to put else if like that, it will actually does not compile. Java will refuse to compile that code. Do you understand why?
Because um because if say they would not compile, right?
Yes,
The
it will
second
refuse.
one.
Yes. Okay. I would recommend. I don't want you to guess. I want you to write these two codes, this function. So you try it with this one time, and then you try to add this portion and see what is the error that you're seeing. Okay? Can you do that, please?
Yeah. Mm. Well, because it doesn't have a return statement, right? At the
Yes.
end.
Yes. You need to have a return statement that is not inside
Inside the
uh,
if else
if.
statement.
Yes, exactly. So have you seen that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let us see how this can be corrected. So, okay. The only way for you to make the code runs well in it comes actually in two forms. You can use only else like that. So by having only else like that, it means that if this condition fails, we are guaranteed that we will have also a return statement. So this have two only possibilities. It can be false or true. So it's only two options, right? True or false.
Yeah.
So if it is false, this will not get executed, but we are guaranteed to get this return statement, right? So the computer or Java know that for sure, if this fails, this will work. And if this is true, we are guaranteed to also return a certain value. So we will satisfy the condition that this function will always return something. This is the most important thing for Java. You can return Java at the end, and the computer is a dump. You could be having a logic errors in your code, but in the Java I and the computer I, you just need to make sure that you return an integer. You could be returning the wrong integer. The computer does not matter. It doesn't matter to him. He's a dump. He's a machine that makes sure that you satisfy certain condition. You said you want to return integer, you must return integer. You said you must return a box, you must return a box. But maybe the box is empty. Maybe it's a useless box. He doesn't care. He's a dump. So again, have a look here. This code is exactly like this code. Both of them is exactly the same and do the same function. So if you remove this else and just put the return like that, it will also do the same functionality. Can you please test it? That you put the return like that, because this is easy. I think you can understand it easily, no problem, right?
Yeah.
The trick is to understand that these do the same job like you're putting else, but with a lesser code that you can write.
So which one should I do? This first one or second one?
This one, because this is more difficult to understand.
Mhm. Okay. That
Okay. Do you see that this work? Does it comply? Are you able to run? Are you able to pass it two numbers and see if it works?
no, not yet. But it has no error yet. So I just need to pass two numbers. Yeah.
It works?
Yeah, it works.
Okay. But do you really understand why this code is equivalent to this? Why it's still working even though we removed the else?
because it has no other statement before that if using an if else statement, right? Means
When are we going to execute that line? This line. When are we going to execute it?
when A is when B is bigger than A. So that means we only have one comparison to code.
Okay. So if we have A bigger than B, will this ever be executed? If A is bigger than B, will we
Uh,
ever execute that?
no, will not.
Okay, that is enough for me. Yeah, okay. So I would like you to think about how to write a method that accepts two numbers, two real numbers, like that, and make a return statement. So it return where are we actually located? Quadrant 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Okay? Are you able to do that?
Maybe I can do that. I do it right now, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Tell me, is it complicated?
Yeah, a little bit complicated. I don't know how do I to understand how do I use the quadrant.
Okay. So first of all, um, Hmm. To be able to detect if you are going, can you see the text on the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the text on the screen say that you are able to say that you are in quadrant one if these two condition is true actually, which is x bigger than zero and y bigger than zero. So it means that x is positive and y is positive. So you have two condition that can assure you that you are in quadrant one, okay, by checking x and y. And you are able to say that you are in quadrant two if x is negative and y is positive. Okay. So if x is negative, so you have here x and y. This is the values of x and y that you get as an input. Okay. So if your x is negative, but your y is positive, so you are sure, you can tell for sure by these two conditions that you are in quadrant two. And then we would like to check the condition for quadrant three. So for every quadrant, there is two conditions that can tell us if our point is actually here or here or here. So this is the condition that you need to understand to build your uh, your uh, your method from inside. So let me just try to put them again. Can you read the third condition and the fourth condition? So quadrant three, what is the condition for quadrant three?
Is x is less than zero and y is less than zero.
Okay. And for quadrant four?
For is x is bigger than zero, y is less than zero.
Okay. So every two condition is unique. Okay. That is the first thing. There is another condition that um, if our point is actually on the axis itself. Okay, so this is a last condition that we would like to handle, but we need to care about the most important condition at the moment, which is either we are here, 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 or here. So if you have a two condition that can tell you about each quadrant, do you think that you could use if statement for that?
Yeah, you use if else.
So if you use if statement, are you able to put this condition into, can you make use of these two conditions that I give to you here that is apparent on the screen?
Yeah. Wait. It should return two or should return zero, right?
It should return the quadrant. So we have four quadrants. There is a special condition here, but forget about this special condition. Focus on the returning one or two or three or four. So far clear, or is it
Yeah,
complicated?
it's good. think I got it.
You're done? Really?
Yeah.
Okay, can you share your code, please? That is excellent. That is excellent. Very good. Very good. Okay. So I'm not sure why you use a quadrant like that, but okay.
I just started like forgot to put the print line. Then I put I put the sign, and it just doesn't have any error. So okay, so I just go with it.
Okay. But are you able to, because at the function, it said that we need to return an integer, 1, 2, or 3, or 4. So uh,
Okay,
ca
so
can you change that to return an integer instead of a string?
oh, integer or double?
Integer. Because the quadrant is only 1, 2, 3, 4.
If I'm doing
But this is not this is not an integer. This function, when you call it, did you call this function?
yeah, I call it.
Okay, from where you call it? Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. So when you call it, um, hmm, okay. But I mean, okay, you can try to run like this. Can you try to run first like this without continuing? Just run like that.
Yeah, but it's just as an error in providing a string instead of
Okay. Then yeah. Okay. Is that correct?
yeah, it's correct.
Okay. Can you make X also positive? Can you remove the negative sign here? Is that correct answer?
Yeah, for the condition. Yeah, it's just 1, 0.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Actually, that's good. Yeah, that's the correct answer. But so okay. So far it's okay. If this is your level, I think it's okay. It's not bad at all. Okay. So see you next class then. Um, yeah. Anything else you would like to tell me?
Um, no.
Okay.
But I want to ask you for my project.
Mm-hmm.
It means that how should I know when to add a controller? Add a controller for each
Uh,
page.
for you have to understand for each view, you need to have a controller. The way it works in Laravel and these frameworks, that every view you must have a controller for it. So sometimes there is a one controller that can have multiple views. This is true. But if you have a view, there must be a controller attached to it, because the view cannot be shown to the user on the screen without a controller calling it. Do you understand?
Right. Understand.
Really? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So okay.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. The- So one controller can handle a lot of
Not a
view.
lot, but not a lot, but maybe maximum three or four. I think I never see a case that I need to handle more than three views. So we just make sure at the end that every view must be attached to a single controller. There cannot be a one view alone, moving alone without a controller, because it cannot be called. If you make a view without a controller, it cannot be called. Nobody can show it. Look, you when you call it, it means that you show it on the screen. When you call a view, you call it to appear on the screen. But if you don't call it, and the only way to call it is to call it from inside a controller. So the only way for you to show a view to the user is to have a controller. So you cannot have a view without a controller. You cannot have a screen and a view. It is just, it can be a dashboard, it can be a login, it can be a registered user screen. Any UI, you need to put it inside a view. So any UI page, any HTML or PHP page, it need to be inside a view. It is a view. It's considered a view. Did
Okay.
you did you, is it
Yeah.
clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then see you
All right.
next class. Let me understand. Are we able to start like a bit, maybe like 5 minutes earlier, or it's not easy?
5 minutes early. You mean like 4 o'clock?
Yeah, possible. If it is possible for your side.
Yeah, it's possible for my side.
Okay, then we should do that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. See you next class.
See you next class.